Hi everybody, this is Shariar Shahid and you're watching All of Your Business. In All of Your Business, we talk about the economic challenges and the economic developments happening across the globe and in Pakistan. And in Pakistan, there has been massive fuel hike and people are eyeing on the fuel prices desperately. We are going to understand in our program the cold facts behind the massive fuel hike in Pakistan with our guest, Mr. Mehtab Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum assalam.
How are you, sir?
I am fine.
Sir, my first question to you is this, that we already talked about the anticipated fuel price hike and recently it has happened and the people are, there are variety of perspectives about it. So my first question to you is this, that there has been a massive hike in the fuel prices as predicted. But we see no fuel hoarding. We see no chaos at the fuel pumps, just like we are seeing in, say, India, in the neighboring countries. There are very bad circumstances over there. The security forces have been deployed. Despite purchasing the oil and the fuel at the international market rates, there is no hoarding and the chaos at the fuel pumps. What are your thoughts about it?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much for having me. Actually, Pakistan prompt rapidly when this crisis erupted. First of all, we have seen that Pakistan raised the fuel prices by rupees 55 per litre, both the petrol and diesel. And in the later weeks, we have seen that the prices of high octane as well as the kerosene were also increased. So Pakistan took action at the moment. And then in the coming weeks, Government of Pakistan provided a subsidy of rupees 129 billion. On one side, in order to protect the consumers from massive hike in last 1 month period. On the other side, they ensure the smooth supply of fuel at petrol pumps. It resulted into creating and reaching a calm and cool atmosphere at petrol pumps in Pakistan. Because people knew that the government is taking all-out action and steps to ensure smooth supply of fuel. And on the other side, they also provided a subsidy of rupees 129 billion rupees. So after exhausting this subsidy, the government was left with no other option but to increase and pass on the prices to the consumers.
Right.
Now, as people knew that there was no fault of the government, international market prices has gone up, they have ensured smooth supply, they have provided subsidy, but now there was no option but to increase the prices and pass on the burden to the consumers.
Right.
So that's why we have seen that we haven't seen any chaos, any panic buying at the petrol pumps. That is the major reasons behind this development.
Right. So we all know that the fuel consumption was skyrocketing when the first time the fuel was reviewed, the fuel prices were reviewed recently. So despite the hike, we all know that the fuel is a necessity and there is no business without fuel. There's nothing without fuel in the modern age. So do you think the artificially low prices and the subsidized prices only add to the fiscal burdens of the country? And also, do you think that the subsidized prices or artificially low prices can add or worsen the economic challenges for the country and its citizens?
Actually, it resulted into creation of multiple challenges.
Right.
When the prices in the international market increased, it resulted into increasing the overall import bill. And it also resulted into widening of the current account deficit. So there are projections that because of hike in international market, it will result into the increasing burden on our imports. And for imports, we will have to utilize the hard-earned foreign exchange reserves. On the other side, there is a burden on the fiscal side. The government of Pakistan has preferred to provide rupees 129 billion subsidy to keep the prices unchanged after passing on the first installment of rupees 55 per liter. But there is a limit to this subsidy under which we can doled out under the IMF program. So, keeping in view this overall multiple challenges, then the government preferred and decided to pass on the burden to the consumers.
Right.
There is another reason. Earlier, the government, when hiked the prices, it was signaling to the consumers that the demand will be compressed.
Right.
But we have seen the demand didn't decrease.
It has increased.
Rather, it increased. So there was need to give another signal that pricing will be the solution, or prices will be used as the tool to compress this demand.
Right.
So that was another reason to hike the prices such a massive level.
So do you think that what sort of challenges could we face?
There are two challenges. One challenge is on the economic front, and that will be the hiking of the current account deficit.
Okay.
It means that if this prices persist for a longer period, Pakistan requires more dollars, and we are going to utilize more dollars to bring fuel into Pakistan. Another challenge will be in shape of CPI-based inflations. We have seen that the Ministry of Finance, along with the IMF, have revised upward the projections of the CPI-based inflation from 6.1% to 7.5%. And there are projections that if this trend persists, it might result into increasing the CPI-based inflation turning into the double digit in coming months on month-on-month basis. So this price hike will pose a challenge for the common citizens of Pakistan, but it will also have a negative effect on the growth, because State Bank of Pakistan will have to adjust the monetary stance by raising the interest rates. And when the interest rates will be hiked, it will have negative effect on the overall growth trajectory of the country.
Right. Sir, do you think that subsidy is unsustainable?
Of course, subsidy is unsustainable, because the government has given rupees 129 billion subsidy to protect the consumers, but then now they have come up with the targeted subsidy, and they are going to utilize rupees 60 billion for providing subsidy to the motorbikers as well as the rickshaw drivers.
Right.
So it's a huge amount, and we are under IMF programs, and we cannot provide all-out subsidy for everyone. So that's why the government has come up with a targeted subsidy.
Right. So, given the unsustainable rupees 60 billion weekly and rupees 240 billion subsidy burden, do you think that these funds could be redirected to many other departments? Maybe debt reduction, maybe public welfare, maybe, since we are in the state of war all the time, in these times, maybe the defense?
Actually, the defense requirements will be met at all costs, but there's a need to protect the vulnerable segments of the society, and especially the motorbikers, because on one side, what the government is going to do, the government is providing rupees 100 per liter subsidy to all those who are the motor owners of the motorbikers, and they are the lowest segments of the society,
Right.
low income strata. So it is also responsibility of the government to protect them at this critical juncture, because you don't know how much long this war and this price increase of the fuel prices is going to persist. So it's a huge amount. Rupees 240 billion is the contribution of the center as well as the provinces, but it is yet to see how much long this crisis is going to persist. But it is also important to protect the vulnerable segments of the society. That's why the government preferred to give them this kind of subsidy.
Right. Sir, do you think the government's decision to provide weekly subsidy of rupees 60 billion ensure fairness and target relief to those who need it the most, rather than benefiting motorcycle owners and 1300cc car owners equally?
Actually, it's very hard to give this kind of judgment at this critical juncture. But there are some other plans as well. I can apprise you that on one side, because this is a fuel-related price hike, the government is also planning to increase the monthly stipend of Benazir Income Support Program.
Okay.
At the moment, the government is providing rupees 40,500 per family on monthly basis. There is a plan to increase the total number of beneficiaries, as well as the total amount might be increased from 14,500 to 19,500.
Right.
From January 2027.
Right.
So there are multiple plans and programs which are on the cards to protect the vulnerable segments of the society.
Right. So what expected number could we imagine regarding the fuel prices in the next review? And how soon? How soon?
I don't want to scare anyone.
Okay.
But if this crisis and the international market prices are going to increase at persistent level, then I think the fuel prices will go up.
Do you think it's going to cross 550 rupees or 600?
I don't want to give any number.
Okay.
But prices will be increased because yesterday we were discussing that there will be more than rupees 100 per liter increase in petrol. But we have seen that that number was also crossed.
Right.
So I don't want to give any number, but it will be certainly increased if the prices in international market are going to persist at the existing level or they see any surge in coming weeks. And if war persists, there is no other option but to pass on the burden to the consumers.
That is scary enough already.
Of course.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. That was all for today. If you want us to talk more about the fuel prices, if you want us to dissect more the international prices and what is going on in the world regarding the fuel uncertainty, do let us know in the comments. Till then, keep watching All of Your Business. This is Shariar signing out.